Hi, voice explainer here. Today I'm going to explain a movie named Lights Out. At the start of the film, we see Paul on a video call with his son Martin. Martin tells his father that his mother's health is becoming bad again, and she is again talking to her own self. His father replies him, "Don't get worried, I am coming back to home, everything will be all fine." On the other side, when Paul's assistant is about to turn the room's light off, she sees someone's shadow over there. As she turns the room's light on, she finds nobody there. When she turns the light off, again the scary shadow appears again, and this happens many times. Then the assistant feels as if shadow has come very closer to her, which scares him a lot. She comes to Paul and tells him that someone is there, but Paul is busy at the call and pays no attention to her, and he asks her to go home. While going home, she says, "Be careful, Paul," and leaves. When Paul is about to leave for home, he sees the same scary shadow, and the scary shadow comes closer to him slowly. Paul tries to escape from there so as to save him life, but he gets attacked by her and gets wounded by her deep claws. Then she appears in front of Paul, who realizes that she can only appear in darkness because this was true that she couldn't appear in lights. Paul runs away towards his office and all the lights are gone now. Then someone tries to open the office door, but the door gets opened and no one appears. At the same time, someone drags Paul away from backside and throws him outside after killing him. Time passes by. Martin is shown, who is going to sleep. He hears some voices, and when he checks, he sees her mother talking to some in dark. When Martin's mother Sophie sees him, she says, "We scared you." Martin wonders and gets scared because no one out there except her mother, whom we was she conversing with. Martin come back to his room for sleeping, and he looks back her mother. He sees scary claws of some species. Martin gets frightened again and runs towards room. When Martin is back to his bed, someone tries to open his room and Martin couldn't sleep as he is frightened. Next morning, Martin falls asleep at the school, so the child welfare people first try to contact Sophie, but they couldn't contact Sophie, so they all upon Martin's stepsister Rebecca. Martin and Rebecca are from the same mother. Then school teacher tells her that he asleep, so came to school. That he fell asleep as he came to school, and he was sleeping thrice in this week. Rebecca take Martin along with her to Mother Sophie's home. Then Rebecca inquires Martin whether their mother met someone or not. Martin replies that mother only met with Diana and talks to her alone. Rebecca becomes surprised after listening to him and says that there is no one like Diana. Rebecca and her mother had a little fight. When Martin returns from his room after packing, he looks into his mother's room and the terrifying shadow appears. Rebecca asks Sophie to taking Martin to her own home for some days. Sophie cries listening to her. Sophie tries to stop them, but Rebecca never listens to her mother, and Martin follows Rebecca as he is frightened. At night, Rebecca wakes up suddenly and finds Martin is not lying next to her, and she listens scratching noises near the door. Rebecca thinks as if Martin is scratching. She finds lights outside, which becomes on and off instantly. Rebecca then sees that scary shadow. Before the lights get off again, Rebecca runs and turns the light on. Rebecca goes to washroom where she finds Martin sleeping in the bathtub holding torch on along with him while sleeping. Next morning, child welfare lady arrives and takes Martin along with her because as per law, Sophie is guardian of Martin. Rebecca looks into the place where Devil Shadow was scratching last night. There she finds her name written along. Rebecca goes to her mother's home along with her friend. She asks her friend to stay down and watch for her mother. When she arrives, Rebecca tries to find proof related to Diana, and she finds a box having records of Diana and her mother. Rebecca finds picture of Diana and her mother and comes to know when her mother was young, she was admitted in mental hospital where she met Diana. At that time, Diana had a strange skin disease. She could not appear in sunlight. Her skin started burning as she is exposed to the sunlight. Her mother and Diana becomes friends in same hospital, and people over there started believing that Diana is witch and she dominates over weak people very easily. Even she had possessed her father and forced him to commit suicide. Diana died in hospital during experimental procedure due to intense light. When Rebecca enters her old room, then that witch attacks Diana and locks her inside dark room. Rebecca shouts so loudly that her friends listen to those voices and enter the room. Now due to light, Diana leaves Rebecca and escapes. Rebecca is too much frightened and she leaves the house carrying that box along with her. Then Sophie and Martin are coming back home and Sophie says she wants to spend good time with him. So we all sit together and will watch movie. Listening to her mother, Martin frightens up again and says, "Mom, we two only." When they both are watching movie, Sophie turns the lights off. Then Diana appears over there which scares Martin very badly. Sophie tells Martin that Diana is her friend and says, "I kept her separated for so long and now she will live together with us." And when Martin sees Diana, he becomes afraid, turns the light on and runs away, and Diana hits Sophie in anger. Now Martin visits Rebecca where she tells the story of their mother and Diana to him. Rebecca tells him we have to save our mother from this witch and we should give her medicine, because if mother does not take medicines, she becomes mentally weak and Diana gains domination over her. Martin replies he will never let that happen because his father also tries to do so, but Diana killed him. Then the doorbell rings. When Rebecca goes out, she finds no one out there. Then a voice comes from inside the room. Diana squeezes Martin inside the dark bed. Rebecca helps him out and drags him save Martin. Then Rebecca along with Martin and her friend Brett comes to her mother's house. Rebecca talks to her mother of Diana. At first Sophie becomes totally unaware that she doesn't know any Diana. Rebecca shows her mother picture of them. She admits Diana and her friend during the conversation. They both argue and Sophie leaves for his room in anger. Now Rebecca asks Martin to come along with him. Martin refuses despite so much danger and says her mother needs help and I will not leave my mom in such difficult situation. Rebecca and Brett agree to stay there as well. Rebecca turns all light on and puts tape of the buttons so that no one could turn them off. Apart from this time, also put extra lights in home. Her mother is shown much worried and she hands over a piece of paper in Rebecca's hand. When Rebecca opens that piece of paper, "I need help" was written it upon. Now that is clear that Sophie is in danger and she seeks help from Rebecca in quit mode. Rebecca tells Martin that they would find some to help their mother and everything would be fine after that. At night, Diana cuts powerhouse and darkness prevails everywhere. Rebecca wakes up and becomes frightened seeing darkness everywhere. She goes to the basement so that she could check the fuse and restore the lights. And then Martin also wakes up and becomes afraid dark. He manages to turn candlelight on and starts searching for Rebecca. Then Diana appears over there and she scares Martin and drags him out, but when Martin shows candlelight, Diana leaves him. Martin also follows her sister to the basement who is fixing the fuse box. As they both were in basement, they realized where sending them to basement was some sort of trap. Diana immediately shuts the basement door closed. Rebecca and Martin knock the door very hard and calls Brett to help. Brett approaches there after listening to their voices. While he was trying to open the door, Diana attacks at him and his torch is blown away. Then Diana is also to kill him. Turns mobile light on and saves himself. Diana attacks him again and breaks his mobile. Brett tries to run outside, but when darkness appears, Diana attacks him. Then he turns the car headlights on, saves himself. Brett escapes from there on the same car. During all this happening, Sophie wakes up and she understands that Diana is not her friend and she is about to harm her children. Diana appears against Sophie and asks her to stay away from children. Now Diana tries to frighten Sophie, but she is never afraid and says Diana that she needs her, so you better stay away from my children. When Sophie is about to take her depression medicine, then Diana tries to hit her and her head strikes the table and becomes unconscious. Here Diana stops her from taking medicines because she will get mentally strong and she won't possess her anymore. On the other hand, both brothers and sisters light and fire in the basement. Martin discovers a UV light over there. Rebecca moves inside with the help of the UV light so that she may find something useful. There she finds that Diana lives in the same basement because there is a way dark out there, and she reads a message left by Diana that warns her not to come between Sophie and her or she will kill her. Diana reappears that attack Rebecca. UV light was not strong enough to scare Diana. Rebecca runs away from there, but Diana holds her hand and suddenly lights appear and Diana's skin starts burning. Martin brought that little Diana lives there and the both runs away from there. Then both listen police siren who start knocking the basement door. That police was being brought by the Brett, comprising of male and female police officer. They pull Rebecca and Martin out the basement. Diana appears again and attacks her senior policeman to death. Rebecca asks female policeman to a slide, but she ignores and Diana kills her also. Rebecca asks Martin to take Brett out of there and she goes in to pick Sophie, but Diana attacks her badly this time and throws her down and says she would kill her and she killed her father, but Sophie appears over there. Sophie says to Diana, I want you to stay away from my children, and she points a gun towards Diana and shoots. Diana says this gun can't harm me and Sophie shoots herself. As Sophie dies, Diana also vanishes away and here Sophie sacrifices her life for children. There more police officers arrive. Rebecca, Brett and Martin promises to live together indefinitely, and the film concludes here. Thank you for watching.